Another beautiful day on the Tirreno Adriatico, but cold. 4 Celsius in the morning, rising to a maximum of 8 throughout the day. And that wasn't the only test. The distance was absolutely huge. 216 kilometres in total, and ending with the biggest climbs in this year's race. The same peak, in fact, taken twice, Monte Carpegna. Well, would a breakaway make it on a day that was possibly their last chance? Or would it be a battle for the GC men by the end? Well, it was a handsome break, and Quinn Simmons in the green jersey, the king of the mountains, was out there, denying yet more points to Davide Bais of Ilo Cometa. Well, also as part of the break, 2 from Quickstep Alpha, Alaphilippe and Honoré were up there. Aramburu and Mas, both from Movistar, Louis Mas that is. Alexander Konishev was there for Bike Exchange, and Cosnefroy from AG2R Citroën. They were joined by Marco Haller as they pushed on for glory, but it started to whittle down. And of course it did, because the inclines we were going to be dealing with towards the end were an absolute nightmare. They had to climb over 35 kilometres just to get to the beginning of the test. As we rolled through town, Carpegna itself, suddenly the inclines were brutal, 15% and more on occasion. Tadej Pogačar was burning out his teammates, and Raf Majka, well, happy to take on that duty. They closed the gap and maintained it on the flatlands, but when the land kicked up, well, the breakaway was starting to get punished and the gaps were tumbling to the peloton. Quinn Simmons stayed out loud and proud in green for the first time of asking over the double peak. Alaphilippe had reached for warm weather gear and dropped back in his attempt to help Remco Evenepoel stay in touch during the day. But as you can see from the graphic here, the gap between the Ciclamino jersey being worn by Evenepoel and indeed Tadej Pogačar was a decent one. So was the descent in terms of a test, and already some were failing that. Landa was pushing on and his teammate just drifting out, Caruso almost coming unstuck. Well, it was to be a preview of what was still to come. Quinn Simmons, he decided that he was going to wait up and help out Giulio Ciccone. Into the final lap it was announced, and Mikel Landa was offering up a test, or would do in this race. Phenomenal stuff by him. Quinn Simmons was trying his best to help out, but Landa looked strong, stronger than he has done for quite some time. And all the favourites were racked together, but of course Tadej Pogačar was amongst them. Slowly but surely he'd battled against those around him, but also his teammates had all been exhausted. In terms of their usefulness, I think you could say. He pushed on, and nobody could follow. In fact, it was arguments only that they were left with, and it would be the crumbs only from the top table as this man just feasted himself upon the day. Brilliant work from Tadej Pogačar, and the gap just grew and grew. Meanwhile, Evenepoel was being brutalised. 3 minutes and 35 down now on Pogačar as he crested the mountain for the last time and took on the descent. Well, we were hoping for a sprint into town. Pogačar was racing himself, it seemed. 10 kilometres to go. He was having some sketchy moments, but so were the breakaway. And bang, down on the deck and going down hard, Enric Mas. Well, he was to pick himself back up, but others were having a shaky time of things. Richie Porte having to hang a leg, and in so doing losing vital seconds in his bid for a podium place overall in this race. Well, descent dealt with, and just the pickup to the line remaining for Tadej Pogačar, and minor places for everybody else. Landa versus Vingegaard would be a 2-up sprint, but only for second place on the day. And it kind of felt like that overall as well. Tadej Pogačar is unbeaten this year, and he wears the blue jersey going into the final stage, which is one for the sprinters, and so this should continue that amazing run. What a phenomena he is. In control of this race. Every battle plan he makes comes good. Well, they raced home behind him. Vingegaard just edging out Landa, the man he chastised for breaking up the attacks earlier on. Round the final bend, but at a goodly margin, I'm afraid. Almost 4 minutes down as he headed for the line. That clock a cruel one. Evenepoel home, honouring that jersey he was carrying on behalf of Tadej Pogačar, who owns them all except for the mountains. Today's stage result reflecting the overall standings as well. Tadej Pogačar, a fabulous rider at the top of his game and a pleasure to watch. Overall, Pogačar leads Vingegaard by 1 minute and 52. Bicolanda in third place, 11 seconds to the good over Richie Porte, a difficult margin to make up for the Australian when it comes to the final stage. Final stage upon which this man will surely be playing his game once again. Tadej Pogačar is in charge. He's in blue as we head to San Benedetto del Tronto, out and back again. A loop to start us off, a small one, then the large country-bound loop which will take in most of the climbs that characterise the first half of the day, and then the laps itself to draw this race to a close. What a race it's been, and what a champion in waiting.